Managing Director of Endeavor Greece.
I am Angeliki. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications at Endeavor Greece.
I'm Martina Greloni, and I'm the Director of Growth for Endeavor Greece.
Endeavor is a global organization. It's a non-profit organization that's been operating since 1997. And our mission is to go to secondary markets, work as a non-profit organization in the mission to support high-impact entrepreneurs, grow, scale up, and then multiply their success stories. So we're all about market transformation, right? So we go to secondary markets and we make sure that the established economy and the leaders of the established economy support the new generation of entrepreneurs who are building innovative and high-tech businesses, right? And we make sure that these founders and these builders are the driving force of the market transformation, right, in these markets. So we are doing this in 40 markets. One of these markets is Greece. Greece was actually our number one, the first European market that we started operating, right? So Endeavor being present in Greece means that Endeavor globally believes that there's huge potential in Greece, right? There's huge opportunity for market transformation by betting on high impact, new age, innovative entrepreneurs, right? And what they can do for the country. So that's our mission. And our work as Endeavor Greece is to make sure that we identify these founders, we create a community and a support system around them, and together with them, we multiply what they're bringing into the ecosystem.
When I started on Endeavor Greece, I was realizing I would be able to support new entrepreneurs and visionaries make their dreams come true. And this is 100% true, and it's an amazing mission. But what you realize after a while is that part of the mission is actually supporting Greece go forward. Through our work, we support the entrepreneurs, but also we support the whole ecosystem to grow. Through that, we have better companies, better salaries, more good positions. We get to create amazing legislations. We get to bring new people in Greece. I think that it's a national cause. We're actually not launching a national mission campaign in a month. There's just so many things to do. And I think that Endeavor, even though I didn't know when I joined, is the perfect place to do it. The idea to write a report actually started from a need. 4 or 5 years ago, we realized at Endeavor Greece that when we were going out to the world, there was no storytelling about the Greek tech ecosystem. It was a relatively new ecosystem, and I think this is partly why, but the fact was that no one outside the country had any idea of the amazing and profound work that was happening here in this area. So in order to bring in new investors, talent, entrepreneurs, organizations, we needed something that would be independent and could persuade them that this is a story that worth being said, and they should join this mission to bring the Greek tech in new levels. So this was the first report of its kind for the Greek tech ecosystem, and the reaction was amazing. We had all of those numbers, we had all of those facts that we needed in order to showcase the brilliant work that was happening in the country, and Sifted helped us a lot to do that. Sifted is a extremely well-established tech media in Europe. It's a spin-off of Financial Times, which gives them knowledge and gravitas and access that a small country like Greece needed. And we worked together closely for a couple of months to be able to release this amazing report. What's very interesting with the report is that it actually spinned off to a whole concept. So with this storytelling in our hands, the storytelling tool, we took it and traveled all around the globe. In New York, San Francisco, Singapore, London, and other big cities that especially Greek diaspora was really fond of, and diaspora was strong there. We went there, we created Greeking out events, as we call them, bringing together different people from that ecosystem, close to diaspora and close to people from Greece. This created interesting discussions and opportunities that eventually came back to Greece to help the ecosystem grow further. And I think that in our ecosystem, there is something very, very interesting, which is the diaspora that has the opportunity to multiply our ecosystem and our powers.
The tech ecosystem has changed significantly these last 2 years. The rate of change in these 2 years, the delta, is immense, is huge relative to all the change that had become all the previous year till 2021. Because for anyone who is not aware, who is not familiar with our ecosystem, our tech ecosystem is pretty new. We started having tech founders, tech companies, tech acquisition, startups, etc. We started in 2005, 2006, but most of them were founded after 2012. So the last 2 years, we have started seeing significant acquisitions, tech acquisitions in Greece, significant funding rounds. So, for example, last year we had the biggest fintech round in the world for the last quarter of the year. We have seen big corporates planning and realizing foreign direct investments in the country, specifically focused on research center, engineering teams, etc. We have a transformation. So if we had like a desert in the past, now we have started having something like a community.
I think that the last 5 years we've been seeing an accelerated change, of course, in the Greek economy, right? So I would say that when we first started writing this report, Breaking Out with Sifted, right? It was the first year that we were seeing some changes happening, right? But we were only a few months or at least a year into the turnaround story, right? Now we're seeing the long-term effects of what it means to have a stable government and a clear economic direction and, you know, a pro-business strategy that the entire country and definitely the Greek government is having. So I would say back in 2022, we had a really strong tech ecosystem, right, that was growing and was going along the way as the other ecosystem were going, like there was a big momentum in the tech industry overall, right? And now we're seeing that the tech industry is slowing down globally, right? But we're seeing the after effects of major market transformation that we're going through in Greece. To me, that's connected with the fact that the Greek ecosystem is being ranked as one of the top performing in Eastern Europe right now, right? The global slowdown is affecting us, but we're still going upward, you know, with the market transformation that we're seeing. So overall, I think that longer, more sustainable change is happening right now in Greece. We're seeing more foreign direct investments taking place. We see more brands, more foreign startups, more foreign investors coming into Greece. The Greek Golden Visa is one of the top performing in the industry. We are still one of the top destinations for high net worth individuals globally. A lot of angel investors from international angel investors in Greece. A lot of foreign VCs are doing more investments in Greece. And that's all tied to the branding and the story of the Greek turnaround. That wasn't the case in 2021 or 22. That was definitely not the case before 2019, right? But still, there's a global economy that, you know, we should keep our eyes on, and that's affecting and starting to affect more and more the trajectory of the tech ecosystem here.
I think, and that's why we decided to do the Sifted report as well 2 years ago. I think the biggest thing is that the Greek tech ecosystem is not that visible internationally. So the international press, the international media, international investors, etc., they didn't keep an eye on the Greek ecosystem. It was a bit isolated. We were very introverted community, I think. And that's what's still missing. I think at Endeavor Greece we are doing quite a significant and impactful job on that. One of our targets and our strategic goals is to put Greece on the global innovation map, and this is the main reason, because we believe that if you draw the international attention here, the rest of the resources, everything else comes with that, because we strongly believe that we have the foundations and we have amazing founders. But we are a tiny market, and you cannot just scale only focusing on the Greek market.
at Endeavor, we operate in markets because we believe that they have the potential to reach the tipping point, right? For us, the tipping point is where GDP growth is driven by innovation and technology rather than established economy, right, solutions. And we want to see more high impact and more high value technology being developed, right? So that's what we're shooting for. And I think that we can accomplish this in Greece over the course of the next 10 years. A good thing with technology is that it's very egalitarian, right? So anyone can develop a world-class scale-up success story, right, from anywhere in the world. You're not bounded by the restrictions of what the established economy would have you have, right? So over the course of 15 years, we managed to build up an ecosystem and an industry that's valued around 10 or 12 billion right now, the Greek startups. You have Greek founders who left the country and started businesses and tech companies that are valued, I would say, between 100 and 150 billion. Over the next 10 years, let's get these Greeks, like the Greek diaspora, set up shop in Greece, right? Start up some operations in Greece. Let's fuel the next generation of entrepreneurs. Let's make sure that our young minds right now, it will be easier for them and faster for them and much more efficient for them to start businesses, right? And of course, with the tech visas and all the campaigning that we do, let's make sure that we become a destination, because we are equally competitive with Barcelona or Madrid or Lisbon or Prague, right? So assuming that we'll have some global talent, these are the driving forces that I can see, right, as who will push the next boundaries of the ecosystem. Greeks, more Greeks into tech, diaspora Greeks returning or at least setting up operations in Greece, and us being a destination for international talent. That, I can see it scaling up in the next 10 years, like I can see it 10x, going 10x, right? So going to 100 billion in the next 10 years, right? Having at least 10 or 15 unicorns, definitely a possibility, right? And then a country whose GDP is close to 300 billion, right? Being able to grow to 100 billion with innovation and technology, right? We can assume that this will be GDP growth, not just, existing GDP being replaced by this industry. So GDP growth, if you ask me, it should be the number one priority for Greece right now. Our GDP number has been stagnant or even dropping, right, during the crisis, but for 30 years. So if you ask me what I envision for the tech ecosystem and its impact in Greece, it's truly driving GDP growth and bringing, the much desired market transformation that we see, and that, reaching 100 billion valuation is definitely a goal there.
Our aspirations and my aspirations is to have a really vibrant ecosystem. So for example, for me, the ideal place would be to go outside and bump into CTOs of big international tech companies, very high level, high profile tech people. This happens for a few months in Athens as well and around Greece, particularly during summer. But for me, the ideal would be if this was like everyday reality. So for example, I heard a story a few weeks ago from one of our founders that for me depicted exactly this picture. And the story was that why he founded his company, because he was at MIT and he went for lunch just with another guy who was supporting scientists to create startups out of their PhD projects, etc. And it was just a casual lunch for him, and this gave him the aspiration to do that. I think this needs to happen here as well. This is the aspiration for us.
We've done a really good job over the past years, right, to build a momentous, diverse, vibrant community of high-impact entrepreneurs, right? It's an endless exercise, if you ask me, right? There's always more people that you can onboard in your community. Right now, Endeavor Greece has hundreds of people, thousands of people as members, hundreds of builders in Greece, diaspora Greeks, international foreigners who are looking or setting up shops in Greece. We work with everyone. Everyone is a member of Endeavor, right? And then our priority, of course, will always be to continue building this community, making it as special and as exotic as possible, right? But at the same time, what we see now as a big opportunity, right, for the Greek tech ecosystem is to build a global brand, bring the Athenian ecosystem and the Greek ecosystem to the global map, right? So doing a lot of what we do here, right? Writing global reports, giving global visibility, running global public relations campaigns, do a lot of storytelling, spreading the word around the world is something that it's a major priority for us. That goes to anything from big events and big activities to reports and insights, and working with international events and representing Greece to other organizations, connecting with organizations who are in Europe and are influential in their ecosystems. We do all of these things at any given time, but we have 1,000 things running at the same time. And the third priority, which I think is also equally critical, and everything of course is interconnected, is how can we make sure that at the same time, right, we're building the community, we're creating a global brand, we're making the world know, right, what's happening in Greece right now, and it's a huge story. But at the same time, how can we make sure that the Greek society, right, becomes more aware and more knowledgeable of what's happening and how can they support it, right? So we call it at Endeavor that focus areas, turning transformation into a movement, right? So this Greek transformation that's happening, this Greek entrepreneurial innovation and ingenuity that's going into motion, right, and is changing the country, it won't succeed much unless we make sure that every single citizen, right, and every single aspect of our society and our structure is influenced by that. So education, raising awareness about what's happening right now, getting that topic into the average household, making sure that people decide where to go and study or who's going to be their next employer, with that in mind, and understanding eventually that this is not a zero-sum game, right? That if we succeed in innovation, everyone succeeds. And if innovation scales in Greece, everyone, will benefit from that. That's a big priority, and it's not a given, especially in secondary markets, right, where the perception of entrepreneurship is not what you want it to be. One of the things that we're working on, for example, is that we're working very closely with the government in all of these things that I mentioned, but we also co-created together 2 visa programs, right, which is the Greek Tech Visa and the Talent Visa. And that's, all part of the extroversion and raising awareness for the ecosystem and becoming a destination for global talent, right? You need tools to do that. And you certainly need visas, right? So we wrote a policy suggestion that introduces the Greek Tech Visa. It gives the opportunity to start Greek startups, officially registered Greek startups, to bring in Greece anyone they want to hire. So all you need to have is a job offer from a Greek startup, a registered Greek startup, and then you have entrance rights and work permit to Greece, right? And the other one is, and by the way, both of these programs were inspired by the British and what the fantastic things that you guys are doing for your ecosystem, right? The second one is for graduates. So if you're a graduate, if you graduated the last 5 years for one of the top universities in the world, it's not just the top of mind that we're shooting for here, right? We're looking at India, China, we're looking at countries that are creating an abundance of talent right now, world-class talent, right? You are a graduate from these universities, you have the right to enter Greece for 1 year, spend your time here, set up your business, work for an employer, do have fun, right? Which hopefully are increasing the extroversion and the opportunities, right, for the Greek ecosystem. We have a lot of interesting stories in that space, right? And we should expect more because the Greek market is regaining its brand recognition and is becoming a destination again, right, for investments, for foreign direct investments. So the most exciting ones that I would single out for you, and we work with them very closely. One that excites me a lot is the JP Morgan, who is building a payments innovation center here in Greece. So they're building teams to create new startups and create new fintech solutions here, right, as a development center. You have Pfizer, who is building a research center here. You have Tesla, who has a engineering center here in Greece. We have Cisco building a big center here in Greece. You have Microsoft, who did an acquisition of a Greek software company called Softomotive, and now their global RPA manufacturing, our development center is in Greece. You have Meta, who acquired Arcusonos, a Greek startup, and now they have operations in Greece. You have Samsung, who through an acquisition of a deep tech company here in Greece, in Ethics, they're now developing all their text-to-speech technology in Greece. Or Applied Materials, who acquired Think Silicon and now all their software, design of low energy semiconductors is built here, right? So through either acquisitions or foreign greenfield direct investments, right? You have huge international companies building innovation centers, research centers, development centers in Greece, not just data centers, which is also meaningful, but more high impact. The more design work you do, the more development work you do, the more high impact the investment is for Greece. So yes, we have these exciting developments. And globally, right? Because we are operating in 40 markets, we see consistently the same challenges. How can you create products that have global market fit, and how can you scale up your teams at a global level, right? How can you create a support system that helps you take decisions quicker and more efficiently, right? How can you identify opportunities or anything that has to do with access to knowledge and information insight, and that goes back to the entrepreneur and helps him take smarter decisions faster and more efficiently. I think this is something that always consistently we've seen that our entrepreneurs need. So that's why a big part of what we do is providing our entrepreneurs with experts and mentors all over the world, right, that can tackle any challenge they have at any given time. And that's also, by the way, a need that it's consistent from the start of a startup's life to all the way to the very end, right, where they exit or they get acquired. That's always a need for the entrepreneurs. And that's something that we're seeing consistently as a big challenge and a big need in entrepreneurs of any stage, of any size, of any origin, right, across our countries, across our offices. There's a generation of startups that start between 2010 and 2015, right, and which are now very sizable scale-ups in the making of amazing success stories, right? So you have Blueground, which is, I think, the most promising startup right now, the most promising case in Greece right now. It's a pre-IPO tech company that has managed to scale all over the world, and they're now category leaders in what they do. Viva Wallet, who was partly acquired by JP Morgan at a 2 billion valuation, right? So now JP Morgan owns 48% of Viva Wallet, and the valuation at the time of the deal, right, was 2 billion. You have Epignosis and Skooks, who are two world-class LMS startups that are in the making of amazing stories, right? And they're world-class LMS providers for amazing companies all over the world. You have Elastic and Workable, who are also managed to surpass 300 million in valuation. So we have our eyes there. Of course, they're all selected at Endeavor one way or another. We work with them, right? They're all Endeavor entrepreneurs or at least engaged with Endeavor, right? And I think that we should be expecting amazing success stories, right? At least from some of them. But definitely, if someone is to push the boundaries of the Greek ecosystem, you should expect one of these to make a big success story. Hopefully, the pre-IPO case, Blueground, is a big one. And you have another generation, right? The 2015 to 2020 startups, where we see some rising stars with promising cases like Hack the Box, TileDB, LifeBit, Orpheum, Spot a Wheel, right? They're startups that are rising fast to that levels. Hopefully we'll have some unicorns, right? We have 2 or 3 right now in the ecosystem. Of course, valuations are something theoretical until you have a pricing event. We don't really know during that decline and the market slowdown what really happened to the Greek valuations, right? Because they're still raising and they're still growing, powered by the Greek turnaround story. We should expect a little bit to slow down going forward, right? For the Greek ecosystem, for the startups also, in their valuation, their ability to raise money. But at the end of the day, we have 10, 20 scale-ups and then another 10 or 20 startups that are definitely going to create success stories.